All right, guys, before we dive into Bryce Brown and we break down every pick from 1 to 32,
Make sure you like and subscribe to the episode. Show some love like we just housed a pick six.
comment below. Tell us your dream pick at 8 or sleeper pick in the draft.
And don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button like it's 4th and 1 and Bryce is on the QB sneak. This is Panther Pedigree. Let's get it. So, Swift, Bryce hit the podium today. Did you get a chance to take a look at it?
He did. Yes, I actually, as soon as I got back from work today, before I took a power nap, I took a look at Derrick Brown and Bryce.
Absolutely.
Definitely it was nice to see a familiar face, right? Especially right before literally the day before the draft. So
yeah, no, I mean I think that's it with voluntary workouts happening right now. And it's a great time for them to kind of talk to them about what's going on with voluntary workouts, about participation. They can also kind of poke and prod to see if these guys know anything about the draft and draft strategy. Obviously, I'm sure Dan and Dave has prepared them to not say too much, even if they know anything. And that's, like I said, even if they know anything. So what did you take away from what our boy BY9 said?
Well, right off the bat, I was immediately, I wouldn't say surprised, but right off the bat, I was just kind of reinsured. It was kind of nice to see. I think they almost immediately asked about the participation. And they said there was a lot of starters, vet guys that were at these voluntary workouts. And it was just nice to see his response. He said, we all like to come into work every day. We all are ready to go. We're excited to be here. So it's kind of nice to know that the guys like each other, that you can really sense kind of what I was mentioning earlier. You can really start to sense a little bit like a culture shift.
Yeah.
Or it's just good signs to see for a team that's gonna, turn things around, and just play well together, I guess, going forward.
I like it. I mean, so I gotta do what I said I was going to do. His little banter with the media kills me, and I think you made a good point when we were talking off air about how we've gotten used to Cam Newton and his dynamic with the media. And Bryce is a little bit different, man. He's kind of goofy. He's a little clunky with a little bit. He's like, I think he opened up the conversation because I think they're all on Zoom. He's like, "What do you guys did not have to come to work today?" And they're like, "Actually, Bryce, you guys determine media availability. You guys tell us if we can come in on Zoom or if we can come in the building or, whatever." And he's kind of clunky. I mean, but I think it's part of his personality. He's a little goofy. He's definitely not Cam as far as that dynamic, but in his own way, he's kind of got a cool personality. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's I think he's a little bit more of a quieter guy. I mean, he's more of a quieter personality.
Yeah.
I think I guess Panthers fans kind of expect a little bit of maybe what Cam used to bring.
Sure.
Just like the I guess you could say aura.
The aura.
Just the confidence, the outfits.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I think Bryce is a little bit more of on the nerdier end, just a little quieter. So he's just poking a little fun.
Yeah, no, he is.
And I kind of had mentioned because I feel like he's done something like that with the media on the first day back, the last
yes,
at least last year. I remember seeing him poking fun with the media.
Yeah.
Or he was just like, how was everyone's vacation and stuff or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was that opening that was it the first weekend of training camp, and he had a little banter with them. I'm like, man, you are so goofy, but he's our QB. I mean, it's his personality. He doesn't have to be anybody but himself. So
yeah. Absolutely.
I took away he was talking originally. The thing that got me was he's talking about team cohesion, and he was talking about the strong participation, like you were saying. And one of the things that he quoted, he said, "Yeah, it's voluntary, but we love being here." I think that's kind of a stepping stone, right? That's kind of okay, listen, you guys aren't going to poke any holes in us. You're not going to make us, the laughing stock of the NFL by saying that they're not getting along. I think he wanted to put it out there as a point. I feel like he wanted to make a point of it. So then he talked about focusing on growth. So what did you take away from that?
I mean, it's nice to see. I mean, it's things you want to hear, especially after kind of having the end of the season that he had.
Yeah.
those are the building steps. You want to hear your quarterback slowly progressively getting better, the team getting better. I know he kind of had they early on the media had asked him about Xavier Legette.
Yeah.
So him just really taking on the leadership role, having like a really good sense of the team and where they're at.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard at times. It seems, I guess, all professionals, if not all professionals, they're always going to be optimistic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most of the time, unless you have your blunt personalities in the league, we're gonna just tell you how it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it can, in a sense, it can fool you because it's the quarterback of the team. They don't want to, be the one that's
that spreads the bad news.
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, Bryce is going to be optimistic, but I mean, you can honestly feel like like an authentic feeling. Things are starting to change. I mean, Bryce is going to let you know, when he's down. You've seen it in previous conferences and stuff when he was benched.
Yeah.
When he came off a bad game, so you can really see like a refreshed Bryce Young.
Yeah, most definitely.
Just ready to go.
Yeah, no, like kind of focusing and backing in on that, like what you're saying. So one of the things he said, specifically said, it's not so much about finding it and trying to figure it out. It's trying to learn. It's more about growing, executing, and being the best version of ourselves. Bryce is like, you can tell that he was raised by somebody who's in the mental health field. And I don't want to pigeonhole him, but a lot of the things he says is like that upper epsilon stuff, like find the best version of yourself, right? Right. Like he talks about like, they asked him what he changed while he was benched. He's like, no, I wanted to reinforce that I am like, who I am and make sure that my process stayed the same. Like he has those buzzwords, man. He has those, like I mean, between being, prepped by, NFL and being, the son of a mental health professional, like he's like got all the right answers. And you're like, okay, all right, I get it, Bryce. I get it. Now, then they started poking at him a little bit, asked him about his perspective with the draft. So he did say that he acknowledged the upcoming draft, but maintained his focus on the current team development. And they mentioned that until new players are on board, that the team's priority remains on internal growth, right? So what do you think about his answer there?
About which part?
So about the draft, like, so they asked him about what is he paying attention to the draft? Is he looking at players coming in? And so he just kind of took the high road on that. What do you think?
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he has, I don't know. Part of me feels like he has a voice in that office. I would be shocked if they haven't, like, Dan Morgan or anyone in the office hasn't like asked him who he likes in the draft. So the idea of him saying like, no, I'm just kind of just waiting to see who we get. I don't really look into it. I think every franchise quarterback in the league, every starter has been looking at draft prospects. Everyone in the league, all starters, all teams that are eager to get better, everyone's looking. Everyone's invested a little bit of time watching a little 2-minute highlight reel of someone's highlights.
I mean, because if we're doing it, they got to be doing it, right? Like they're like, oh, you guys looking at that guy? Like, quick YouTube search.
I'm not having I live under a rock all off season. Whoever we get, we get. It's just
it's not realistic to me either.
No, it is a good answer. It's a good answer. But I have a hard time believing it. I doubt that players don't have someone specifically that they would be interested in playing for. Michael Parsons has expressed before. I hate to bring up a Cowboy again. Bring it up the other day, but I know like Michael Parsons, he's going to be live tomorrow for the draft. He's a guy like that. He's very vocal about who he wants.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
So it just shows me like it's got to be most of all players.
Yeah,
they have someone in mind.
Now, I will tell you that they did finally get him to open up a little bit. So he did have some advice for newcomers. So basically, from drawing from his own experience, Young said to the incoming rookies, be yourself, So he wanted to emphasize the importance of being authentic and being themselves and coming as their most authentic person. Again, sounds like the comments he had last year, right? 'Cause I think he was interviewed in a similar spot last year. He talked about being himself. Again, those buzzwords, those keywords. Hey, you can be yourself. We welcome your most authentic self. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, that's an interesting response. Because you can kind of look at it like, did something happen in his experience that makes him respond that way?
Mm,
Or, um, because I believe, it was Frank Reich
Frank
that
Reich,
was
man. Yeah.
was there when he was drafted. So,
Yep. Yep.
was there,
I
I
mean, it
guess,
was a
was
lot.
there a
It
certain
was
way he had to be?
Right, and it was all obviously the chaos, that Hunger Games mentality. So you can only imagine what that Panther locker room was like when Frank Reich was, especially when you had coaches stabbing each other in the back, not physically, like literally. So yeah, I mean, it's probably some of that, right? It's probably some things he's experienced in college. I mean, because it's not like Alabama's a small program.
No.
Um, so I mean, I'm sure Saban, wanted people to, come and be, you know, workmanlike, but probably be themselves so he can get the best out of them. But I agree with you. Like maybe there's something there from his first year in the NFL that's really triggering him to say that.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to wrap on Bryce. Did you have any more feedback from his interview? Or like, are you happy to see that he interviewed during voluntary workouts, or indifferent?
Um, uh, uh, I I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he's there. I'm glad to see him there. I believe I saw some pictures a couple of days ago.
Yep.
He was wearing like one of the
Yep.
catapult bras.
Yep.
Um, I'm not surprised just because you can just see um the confidence building in him.
Yep.
You see how much he cares, um, how much
Right.
the guys around him love him.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised a guy like Bryce is gonna miss out on something like that.
Yep.
And yeah, I even though we've been kind of picking on his media training approach, I do appreciate like the answers. I think
Yeah.
to an extent, for myself, I know just being yourself is super important, especially going into a new situation. I guess I can touch on it real quick. Just going into my own
Yeah.
scenario this past season, my own
Yeah.
football season, I think just being yourself is super important,
Yep.
because you're meeting new guys, new coaches. I feel like if no one really knew about me coming in,
Right.
maybe a few veterans, but if people have an expectation of you, you might feel like you have to be some kind of way
Yeah.
to please them, and you don't. You just have to be yourself, and you got yourself to this position to be
Right.
in the NFL. So that don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I like it. I like it. No, for me, I'm like, I was glad to see him. Was it a make or break? Was I going to change my opinion on how I felt about how the offseason was going if I didn't see him? Not really. I think it's good to see, like, like I think one of those, he's established himself as a leader. Like, so it's good that they asked him to be there. But the other person they asked to be there, and before we continue on, stick around for our mock draft after our comments about Derrick Brown. After we react to his video. We are doing
Yes.
our first and final mock draft, the first 32 picks of the NFL draft, to see how we believe they're going to do. We're going to put ourselves in the role of GM, and we're just going to just run through the first 32 picks. But
Yep.
again, so as we get ready to break down Derrick Brown, I was actually really glad to see Derrick Brown, because one of the things that they did mention during the interview is that he really wasn't available for media. Like, he got injured, and then he kind of fell off the face of the earth. And it was really good to kind of see him. And then obviously, I think in the same pictures we saw each other, we saw together. They had showed pictures of Derrick Brown working out, and he looks like he's in good shape. I mean, like, again, these guys look great, right? In their speedos. It's like the same thing we hear from the draft. Like, they look amazing running around in their underwear, but it's going to come down to when they strap the pads on, which is, I mean, that's true. But kind of going on Derrick Brown, I mean, they really opened up about asking about his recovery, and is he going to be ready for the season coming up. What did you take from that?
Yeah, it's another. I mean, I sound like a broken record, but just reinsured.
Yeah.
I think in a sense, it was kind of a good thing that he got injured as early as he did. So it was
Yeah.
kind of a blessing in disguise. So
Yeah.
it's given him almost an entire season last season,
Yeah.
and the whole offseason to get back healthy. Um,
Yeah, because he injured all
and
but one game.
yeah, all but
Yeah.
one game. So kind of a blessing in disguise. But
Yeah.
you can see he's hungry. I mean, he's a dog up front.
Yeah.
Another familiar face coming back. You like to have that familiarity
Yeah.
within the team. So having a leader like Derrick Brown, it's crazy thinking that he's the veteran now, because when
Yeah,
he
because it
came
doesn't
into the
seem like
league,
he's been that long, man.
it really hasn't. It really hasn't. So it's kind of crazy. I guess I'm getting old, but seeing him be like the veteran guy now,
Right.
like I'm so
Yeah.
used to seeing like K1 Short and
Star
Star Lou
Lutulele.
Tutule.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
just it's
Yeah.
crazy.
No,
So
I feel
yeah,
you.
he seems eager, seems hungry. I'm excited. I'm excited to see him come back.
Yeah, no, at one point he said, "I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling great. I'm excited to be back with the team and be back in the with the guys moving around a little bit more." So I mean, I think I felt good about that. I mean, he energy wise, he was at the podium, and I like, for some reason I don't remember Derrick Brown being a guy that I paid attention to if he ever did interviews. But for some reason, this particular one hit me that he's hungry. Like, I mean, he's also coming off of that. I mean, obviously a year removed because he was injured, but he's coming off that insane, interior tackle record-breaking tackle performance. He had over 100 tackles from that interior tackle spot, which, I mean, his run
And
grades
his
are out of
first Pro
control.
Bowl too, right?
Yeah,
Was it his
man.
first Pro
Yeah.
Bowl? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of a crappy way to follow up, a record-breaking season, not just
Right.
not just a team record, like it's an NFL record. So I mean, I thought it was it was really enlightening to see him talk. Then they talked about the impact of the 2024 injury. And so one of the things he said, nobody wants to finish this, last in the defense in the NFL. It's not a nice trophy to hang on the wall, but it is what it is. So now we've got to go out there, execute, and get back to what we do. Your thoughts?
As long as Derrick Brown is healthy, he's not letting that happen again.
I can literally take the words out of my mouth. Like that, I feel like if he's back and he's feeling like himself, that interior is going to be fine. I mean, we did upgrade. We did add Bobby Brown the third. I'm sure we'll add somebody else in through the draft. But I feel like you're already getting a bump from last year having that man back in the middle. And
Right.
I don't think you can go wrong. Like, once you get him back, I think your defense instantly improves with him there. And then one of the last things that we'll talk about is he did talk about team dynamics and the new additions, not just and it wasn't talking about the draft. They asked him specifically about the free agent additions. And he outlined that there's a positive atmosphere of voluntary workouts. He mentioned that they're integrating the new teammates in the collective effort to build the chemistry. He expressed enthusiasm about the fresh energy and the opportunity to establish strong connections early in the season. And specifically, I believe it was Alex Zylo from the Charlotte Observer asked him specifically about Turk Wharton, the interior tackle from the Kansas City Chiefs that we picked up. And one of the things he said, he's like, that man works hard. And when you got a guy like Derrick Brown and the clout that he's built in that locker room, saying somebody works hard, like, I'm already feeling better about this interior. How about you?
I'm feeling good about it too. I think if anyone, I mean, it's just a great quality of a leader like Derrick Brown.
Yeah.
Get you excited. If you don't know much like myself, I just kind of knew he was um, Chris Jones's sidekick in KC.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
aside from that, you don't know much. So
Absolutely.
or I don't know much. So new guy coming in.
Yeah.
Um, I did happen to notice one of his faults was specifically run defense.
Yeah.
Or pass rush. I can't remember. I think it's run defense. So
Okay.
I honestly, working with a guy
I think
like
run
Derrick
defense. I
Brown,
think it's run defense.
yeah, run defense. He was. I think that's like one of his.
He was graded low. He was graded low in run defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turk Warrior.
So being with a guy like Derrick Brown, who's building you that confidence. I mean, you're only as good as your greatest strength as your team. Like confidence is huge.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Absolutely.
Everything. So having a guy like DB,
yeah,
to encourage you like that, to give you that reassurance to mentor, work alongside with.
Yeah.
I mean, that only makes you a better player. So it gets me excited, and I'm glad that they got Derrick Brown some help. And
Yeah.
I can honestly, I was gonna mention earlier, I'm a nerd out a little bit, but it's kind of like that scene from Avengers Endgame where Cap's
Ooh.
a little beat up, and then you see like Black
Ooh.
Panther and all of them come through the portal.
Yes,
So it's
sir.
like Derrick Brown and
Getting the reinforcements coming in.
getting some reinforcements. So it's nice to see that we shored up the D line because
Well, you're
it
not
starts
nerding out
up
alone.
front.
You're not nerding out.
It can't.
That spoke to me. That spoke to me.
It starts up front. You can't do anything without the line. Can't run. Can't pass. Can't catch the
Absolutely.
ball. I know I can't. There's no pass protection. God
There's
knows that.
nothing happening. I mean, I've
So
experienced that firsthand coaching myself. Now, so the voluntary workouts, it's actually a really cool time to kind of talk about that before we head into our mock draft. So the voluntary workouts look like they had some pretty decent participation. And I think for this particular group of Panthers, it's going to be actually really important season. This is the first time Bryce Young being in the NFL has gone into year 2 with the same OC. And I think that's going to be a big deal because obviously Dave Canales calls his own offensive plays. How do you feel that that's going to affect? I mean, let's just speak of the offense because I mean they asked Derrick Brown the same thing about the
sure.
defense, but how do you think it's going to affect Bryce Young's confidence going into year 2 with the same offensive coordinator?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It's a game changer because he talked about it even at the end of the season. Like they were just asking, like they were asking him, like, what's been the difference? Like, what made you have this huge outbreak against Atlanta, and like, where did this come from? Like, where do you think the change happened after you got benched? And the same answer he was giving to everyone was just like the getting familiarity. I can't even say that word tonight. Holy cow!
No, you're good.
Getting comfortable with the offense.
Yeah.
I think he just had to learn. Dave Canales had to learn the playbook, had to learn the system.
Yep.
And you can really you see him start to get comfortable with it. And I think that's what really changed. I think it's hard for any quarterback. I think it's hard for any quarterback to make an impact and elevate when you're constantly changing coaches, constantly changing playbooks. So just to have the consistency in coach and to have Dave Canales come back, for which is nice because I feel like we've been running through coaches like a freaking.
It's not been pretty. It's not been pretty. Coaching Western Carolina has been real. It's been real, and it's been real difficult. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah. So I think it's huge.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I mean, they asked Derrick Brown same comments, and Derrick was very, he's like, they've been with Ejiro Evero, obviously, this is going to be their 3rd season with him because he came in under the Frank Reich regime. So I think the defense is going to be in a good place because this is like the third year. Now you're adding into that, and you have guys that have been in that system for 3 years now. So again, excuses are gone next year, especially if we can avoid the injury bug and we have the proper depth. So I think I couldn't agree more. It's a great thing. I mean, I think it's going to improve. Actually, Bryce talked about actually being in graduate school of the offense during his comments. So he's like, actually this feels like, you're in graduate school, you're learning and you're getting, you get more information on the offense. You understand the little nuances and things that you can and can't do in the offense and things that we were doing for the first time last year, we're doing, multiple times, and we can, take it to the next level and, be more confident, which I was actually pretty excited about.
Yeah. So, yeah. You'd love to hear that.
Absolutely.
Love to hear that.
So we've been leading up to our mock draft, but I think it's about time to remind our fans that we need a little love here. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and lead us off here on this one, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Just find my notes here. Gotta go back. All right. If you're still rocking with us, you already know this is Premium Panthers Talk.
Now go ahead and hit that like button like it's a blitz off the edge, fast, aggressive, with no hesitation.
Go ahead, if you got a second, drop a comment down below and let us know your dream pick. Who would you like to see us get at 8? Who is your dream pick? And who would you, I guess, for a lack of better terms, who would you see us getting that would make you turn the TV off?
I like that. I mean, because that's what we hit last night. I mean, I think it's super important. So if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you even doing? right? Like hit that button like you're securing Bryce Young in a clean pocket. That's all I'm trying to say right now.
Keep pounding, keep subscribing, share, and let all your friends know, or those who may be Panthers fans or even just sports fans. Keep riding with the pedigree.
All right. We want to thank you all. We want you to be blessed. We're out.
Stay safe. Go Panthers.